So I hear kind of like hog, I hear deer. Mm-hmm. Is there anything else that you hunt?
Yeah, so we'll be going on a bear hunt this year. That's something we're pretty excited about.
What's up, everybody? My name is Adam, and I'm the host of the UKnowAdamTsang podcast, the show that is dedicated on bringing on passionate people, learning about their stories, and delivering value to entrepreneurs. So if that's what you're interested in, go ahead and follow, like, and subscribe. You know what I'm saying?
How's it going, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the UKnowAdamTsang podcast, where you get to know a little bit more about people, passions, and all things business. Today, sitting across the way, I have John Keene from Bowtreader right here in Statesboro, Georgia. John, welcome to the show.
Glad to be here, Adam.
Absolutely. It's been a long time coming. We've been kind of, trying to make this happen. I'm so glad to have you finally here and to learn more about the Bowtreader brand.
Sure, yeah.
But let's start off a little bit about tell me a little bit about what Bowtreader does.
So Bowtreader is a archery sporting goods retailer. Let's rephrase that. We're a sporting goods retailer, and our anchor is archery.
Gotcha.
So we do a lot of other things as well, but archery is the biggest deal for us. We're just, our mission is to get people outside.
Love that.
We have a really cool platform in archery, with it being a lifetime sport. We'll have folks that'll come in that are 6 or 7 years old getting started, anywhere up to in their 80s that are still active in the sport of archery. So
that's amazing.
Yeah, so much fun.
Tell me about when Bowtreader started.
So we started 6 years ago.
Okay.
Actually 5 years ago. We're going into our 6th hunting season this year. 2018 was when we got the company going, and it started the way I think any business should. We saw a business opportunity. It's great to have passion. And our team has great passion about what we do. But if there's not a business need, especially in a niche market like that, you're always going to struggle.
That's right.
So I think that identifying that there was that opportunity was the biggest part of getting that business up and running.
And how did you see that?
Well, we were active in the archery community, not in a big way. We like to hunt, so that was something that we were engaged in. And we didn't have a very good outlet, didn't have a good spot here in Statesboro to be able to go and get the things that we needed.
There was a lot of armories around here, right?
Where a lot of gun shops and stuff like that, but nothing that really focused on archery. So we would have to go to Savannah to go and get what we needed, or go to Augusta or something like that. And we just thought about it and said, man, if we're doing this, there's got to be hundreds of people doing this.
Yeah.
So identified the need and then started from there.
What was the community like before you guys got here, like the archery community?
I think it was there.
So you didn't know? You weren't sure?
I wasn't involved in doing shooting sports as far as going and doing target archery or things like that. Obviously, we saw that there was something that was going to be happening because the shooting sports center was being built.
Let's talk about that.
So we saw that the opportunity was going to be there, and with talking with folks at the shooting sports center, it's not something that they're trying to do a big retail side of. The need was going to definitely be there.
I think Georgia Southern is actually relatively unique of having a shooting center directly on campus.
Sure, yeah.
Just because it's kind of like, one of those kind of like touchy subjects, if you will.
Yeah.
But I remember when the center came up, and I remember just going there, applying, and kind of like enjoying their services.
Sure.
That was in 2016, 17?
I have no idea.
You don't remember?
Yeah, no idea.
But it was there before you started the actual...
Yeah, it was.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah,
and then so you reached out to them. And at that point, were you visiting the center often at all? Okay.
No, I wasn't.
You were still kind of like, just in the zone. You just thought that there was a great community here that might want your services.
Yeah, we knew of, other bow hunters that were engaged in the sport. And, it was just it was a natural fit. You think about talking with other folks that were bow hunters, because that's really our primary focus is bow hunters. We love target archers. We love working with them. They're very specific in what they like to use.
Okay.
So it's very hard to stock something for them.
Sure.
Almost any time we bring something in for a target archer, it's when we're actually building a package from the ground up for them, and starting from scratch. And man, they'll come out of the woodworks with stuff that, it's like either you've never heard of it or hadn't heard of it in 5 years or something, or but it's they want something that's extremely specific. Whereas we really work hard to curate what we carry for the bow hunter in our shop. And when a bow hunter comes in, they don't have to worry. We got what they need.
Got what they need.
Yeah, absolutely.
So walk me through this, right? So maybe some of our audience and myself included, I've never been on a hunt before, right?
Sure.
So I've never been hunting before. I know that there's rifle hunting.
Yeah.
And I know that there's bow hunting.
Yeah.
Why would someone go towards a bow versus a rifle?
I think it's more fun, honestly.
Yeah.
You have to get pretty intimate with your game when you're bow hunting. When you're rifle hunting, man, if you can get within 200 yards of something,
you got it.
You got it.
So you have to get closer. It's the distance.
Yeah, when you're bow hunting, you really ideally want to get within 20 yards.
Wow.
Like for instance, I harvested a deer last season back in October of 22, and I harvested that animal at 6 yards. So I mean,
chills.
Yeah, I mean it's incredible. To be able to do that, and you're really, to me, it is about the sport. It's about being able to get that bow, get that piece of equipment, and get it completely customized to you. Like you couldn't pick up my bow and shoot it. Even if we're close to the same height or anything like that, you would struggle to shoot it because everything is customized for me, for the way I look at it, the way I hold it. Everything's different.
Okay.
Whereas if I had a gun and you wanted to shoot my gun, I could hand it to you, and within a few shots, you could probably be hitting X's.
Got you.
So it's very different in that respect.
More customization is what I hear.
It is the most custom piece of outdoor equipment you will ever buy.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. I love this kind of like intimate, thing that you mentioned with, the game. When you are that close to, like, so you're tracking, like, are you kind of like in stealth mode and getting as close as you can, or you are allowing the prey to come towards you?
Yeah, I think it varies. We will have times where you're out stalking. You're trying to locate the animal and move closer to it and move in for a shot. The way that we hunt most of the time here is still hunting. Most of us within our little group, we saddle hunt.
What's that mean?
It's super light. It's literally a saddle, that's made out of fabric, and you literally climb up in the tree and hang out of the tree in the saddle. So we'll go to areas and scout and find spots where we think deer are going to be coming through, and you're able to be so quiet using that equipment that, like, literally that deer that I was talking about that I harvested in October, as I was getting up into the tree, 6 or 7 deer walked right past me. They had no idea I was there.
Yeah.
Because when I went into the area, I knew that there were deer there. I played the wind, right? I wasn't having to work off of a stand that had been preset or anything like that. I played the wind, so the wind was in my face. They had no clue I was there. So as long as you're not making noise or movement, they have no clue.
Wow.
Right? Because the wind's blowing past them at me. That's the only. I mean, if you can beat a deer's nose, and you got them.
Yeah.
And the same thing with a hog, and same thing with all kind of game. God gifted them with incredible senses to be able to preserve themselves.
Sure.
But He gifted us with incredible tools to be able to preserve ourselves, right? So yeah, it's a lot of fun though.
So I hear kind of like hog, I hear deer. Is there anything else that you hunt?
Yeah, so we'll be going on a bear hunt this year. That's something we're pretty excited about.
What is that like?
I don't know yet. I'll tell you
first
after.
Time?
Yeah, it'll be my first time.
Wow.
So yeah, I'll tell you afterwards. And on a first time hunt like that, who knows if we'll be successful or not.
Is there usually a guide that kind of like
We will not be
guides you?
going with a guide.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, no, we won't be going with a guide. We'll be going by ourselves. We'll go up sometime this summer, this spring and summer, and do some scouting trips and find where we're gonna go and you know, kind of go from there.
That's awesome.
So
take me through the journey, right? So, you know, I think we've heard a little bit about your expertise, especially in this bow hunting kind of like realm.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about, you know, somebody that, you know, potentially wants to get into this sport. Like, are you seeing more people kind of like start moving towards bow hunting versus rifle hunting right now?
I don't know if we're seeing more people move towards bow hunting versus rifle hunting. I think that bow hunting or archery is more accessible because you don't have to have a spot to go and do it. You know, you can shoot a bow in the city limits in your backyard, right? I mean, you need to be smart about it.
Sure.
You know, you need to realize you're flinging an arrow at, you know, a couple hundred feet per second. So
Okay.
let's be smart with it. But I think the accessibility of it makes it so folks will come in. Just yesterday, we had a guy come in. He's here at Georgia Southern as a college student, and bought his first bow yesterday.
Awesome.
You know, and he's been engaged in the sport a little bit, but he's never had his own bow, never shot an actual compound bow. So I mean, it was a blast to work, you know, through that whole process with him yesterday, and get him going in the sport. So yeah, to answer the question, do we see more people getting into archery versus gun? I don't know. I don't know how we would even gauge that. Is bow hunting popularity growing? Absolutely.
It is?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, we really see it as a more viable part of the sport. You know, because like you said, certain subjects are pretty touchy.
Sure.
Right?
Sure.
And I mean, anybody that looks at our state and says that the population is not growing is kind of being silly and,
Sure.
and naive.
Yeah.
And as population grows, hunting areas typically go down.
Yeah.
So being able to go in somewhere and hunt with a rifle is going to continue to be more challenging. States like Wisconsin and Ohio and Illinois, man, their bow hunting numbers are so much higher than ours are. Frankly, really, because they have extremely small gun seasons and pretty wide and broad bow hunting seasons. And I don't know all the legislation that went into that, why they made those decisions, but it just feels like that's kind of the natural progression that we see. So I think that getting into bow hunting is definitely something that's got some staying power.
I love that. My channel is really meant for entrepreneurs,
Sure,
right? Like,
yeah.
business people that, are looking to maybe start their own and something along those lines. And, one of the questions that comes up often, especially with entrepreneurs, is kind of, take me through like that first moment that you made the decision that this is what you were going to do. Because oftentimes there's a fear, right? Or maybe there wasn't. Like, how did you feel about, making that leap and making the investment into this industry?
I don't feel like there was a fear involved with it. I felt really strongly about what we were going to be doing. We really view our business as part of our mission. So it's not just a business. Yes, it's a business, and we need to be profitable. I mean, there's no doubt about that. I think that any business that you are ever involved in, you always have to remember that you have to be profitable. Because if you're not, it's like taking air away from a person.
Correct.
It's not going to survive. It's not going to live.
That's right.
So going into it, we viewed it as a mission. We viewed it really as a ministry. So with that said, we felt so strongly called to it that not doing it was more fearful than doing it.
I understood. Understood.
Yeah.
And from there, making that leap of faith, how has the business grown?
Well, I mean, just to kind of look at the space that we occupy, right? I mean, sometimes that's an easy way to look at how a business has grown. Man, we started out and we were in like 900 square feet or something, and had one little spot where somebody could test shoot a bow. and just a very small amount of retail space, and have just been able to see that grow tremendously over the past 5 years. And man, God has just been faithful to us, and I think that I think more than anything as a business owner, my goal is to make sure I'm being a good steward to what I've been entrusted with. I want to make sure that I'm making decisions that's within His will, not something that is what I want. And that's what I've kind of, I guess, racked my brain over more than anything else, is to make sure that whatever we're chasing, it's for the right reason.
And give me an idea of that. So, you started in a 900 square foot location.
Yeah.
Now where are you at?
So now we're in about 7,000 square feet.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's
of shop space?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep. Which includes a range. We do have a range where we're located, and really we're busting at the seams right now. We're trying to make some decisions about, what do
What's
we do?
next?
Yeah, what do we do next?
Wow.
What's the right thing to do? So then that gets back to that business side of it, right? We have to remain profitable. We've at this point, anybody that's starting a business, those first 3 or 4 or 5 years, man, you should be evaluating everything so hard that it makes you sick. Because I want to know what it costs to unlock the door every day.
Yep.
I want to know what my occupancy is.
That's right.
Right? So because I'm trying to figure out what my sweet spot is without comparing myself to everybody else in the industry. Because I think whether it's in business or personally, when you get into a space where you're comparing yourself to others, you can drive yourself crazy.
So true.
So I think it's extremely important that you identify, okay, what's my niche? What is my calling? What is it that I need to be doing? And then how do I support that? How do I support that goal? And that's true whether it's business or whether you're talking about your life, talking about your family, whatever the case is.
There's a saying that's comparison is the thief of joy.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that.
And how have you led your team to not be so much focused on what everybody else is doing, but rather on what Bowtreader is doing?
I think it really boils down to creating a culture where we focus on what we're doing. I mean, and the way that you do that is when somebody brings something up about what another brand is doing or what another quote unquote competitor is doing. People view other shops as our competition, but man, we really work hard to work together with other shops. I mean, it is so cool. Like, we have a shop that's located down in Savannah, and he's been doing this for almost 30 years, which I have a tremendous amount of respect for because I see how hard it is. Yeah. Right? And, I needed something one day, and I reached out to him and said, hey, I need this tool. I need it, like, ASAP. I can't get one. And he said, I got an extra one. Come get it. You know? And that was awesome.
Did you develop that relationship before?
I mean, I didn't do anything to tear the relationship down before, right? And I think that's something that's important. There's room in this space for both of us. Yeah. So did I do anything to cultivate the relationship beforehand? No, I don't really think so. But I think there was an obvious respect there. Which is important. There always has to be a first step, and kindness and respect is a great first step.
Has that developed your guys' relationship anymore, or is that just like kind of like a one-time?
No,
transaction?
Yeah. I mean, we stay in contact with each other.
That's great.
We stock a little bit different things, different inventories, and if we need something, we'll reach out to each other.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
It's very cool.
I think business is one of those things where back in the day and before I think the internet existed, business was very cutthroat, if you will, right? Like people like always, and even right now at times, if like the businesses don't see eye to eye or whatever it is, I think that there's an opportunity for that. But I think as time moved on and as, reviews came into place, as your reputation became more and more important because of the proliferation of information, if you will, I think that it's so much more valuable in this day and age to be a kind of, organization, to treat your employees with respect, to develop that culture, to work with other businesses. I think that that's such a valuable piece. For you, as you've kind of like navigated this, have you had any times when you have seen kind of like these businesses that maybe don't do what is in your eyes potentially the right thing?
Yeah, I mean, I think you see that every day. And I think that just because information travels faster now doesn't mean that we have more of an incentive to treat people with kindness. I think that from the beginning of time, we've had an incentive to treat people with kindness. I have a tremendous amount of motivation to treat somebody else with kindness because the amount of kindness that's been shown towards me. So it's whether somebody finds out about it or not, it doesn't matter to me.
Yeah.
It's my responsibility to be kind and to take that first step.
Love that. Bowtreader has 4 pillars that it works off of.
Yeah.
Let's kind of like walk through those and talk about kind of like this culture that you're developing.
Sure. Yeah. So it's teamwork would be the one that I would kind of point to first. And that's there again, working to build that culture within our team, and everybody realizes that they have a voice, whether it's a part-time college student that's coming in, and they have a voice on big things. Like I'll talk to them about big stuff and be very transparent with them. So I think that that's a huge part of what we do. We started out the business thinking that it was going to be a ministry to the sporting community, to the outdoorsmen and outdoors women that we were going to be serving. And it is. We do get to serve them in wonderful ways. But then we got this extra surprise with these young men that we bring in that come to work for us. And, man, my wife and I, we feel like we get extra children when we do this. And I don't mean that in a negative way.
Sure.
I mean that in the best way possible.
Sure.
We adopt them into our family. We have them out for meals and go to events together and stuff like that. And man, it's incredible. And it's hard, honestly. We feel like college coaches or something, where we're going to get them for 2 or 3 or 4 years, and then we gotta let them go.
Yeah.
And letting them go is hard.
Yeah.
And but really getting the opportunity to work with them and teaching them how to have a job, because a lot of times they'll come to us having never had a job, and we'll get to work with them their whole college career and teach them how to work, teach them that there's expectations, how to work together as a team. So that teamwork is a big part of what we do. And then patriotism is a big part of it. We love the country that we live in, and being a viable part of our local economy is a big deal. And that I think something that we miss out on. So often tensions will get so high talking about political things and stuff like that, and politics is messy. I think anybody could agree with that.
I agree.
And it's not just today. It's been messy from day one.
Sure.
I mean, we can go back in our history and see where politicians, dueled each other. One of them died, and all this kind of stuff. So it's not like it just
with bows and arrows.
Yeah, it's not like it just got nasty, right?
Sure.
But being a patriot, where we love our community. We love the folks that are in our community. We love the folks that serve our community, whether it be LEOs or firefighters or military or veterans or whatever the case may be. Doing all those things to support those folks, and to kind of go out of our way to be appreciative to what they've done, I think is a big part of being a good company anywhere. I think that's important. And then that vertical part of what we've been talking about, what we've been hitting on. The way I view this world is this is nothing more than a surface deployment. I wasn't made for this world. I was made for somewhere else that is far better, a place that I cannot wait to see. And when I get there, I'm going to have a responsibility. I'm not going to be floating around on a cloud stroking a harp. Wherever that idea ever came from, I don't know. But yeah, I mean, this is a surface deployment. We're here to help people understand and know the truth. And the truth is, we're created for somewhere else. The truth is, every single thing that we can see right now, including me and you, is going to be gone one day. Everything. This microphone, these lights, these cameras, it's all going to be gone. Right? Those things are going to be gone really soon because those are going to be outdated and you're going to be like, all right, I need to upgrade.
Sure.
So we can understand that, right? But this flesh is going to be outdated pretty soon and I'm going to need to upgrade, right? And the truth of the matter is the only thing in here that's going to last forever is my soul and your soul. And it's going to reside somewhere for eternity. And there's two options. And I don't want one of those options to happen to me or to you or to anybody else. And like I said, there has been such kindness shown to me because I was on a crash course for an eternity in hell. And God stepped in through Jesus Christ and changed that for me. And, the amount of kindness that he showed through that makes it so, how can I not show kindness to somebody else? How can I not go out of my way to have patience with somebody because I don't know what they're going through, right? When we say that we're on a vertical mission, that doesn't mean when somebody walks in our door, we pick up a Bible and sling it at them as hard as we can.
I think that's that's something that I think a lot of people get twisted about Christians.
Yeah.
Is like, because there are some Christians that do that.
Yeah, I mean, I think so, and when somebody walks in the door, I'm not going to start speaking Christianese to them.
Yeah,
I'm not,
Christianese.
I'm not going to be dropping Bible verses on them every other time I open my mouth. You start with kindness.
You know what I find interesting, and I've been having more and more of these conversations with entrepreneurs. It seems as if oftentimes your faith hold you grounded, so that business oftentimes is this scary thing, right? Where there's like this fear. And what was interesting to me was that your faith actually held you through all of that, where it was not to say that it's like acts as a buffer or anything like that, because I think it's more than that, but your passion for the relationship with God basically makes it so that it's almost like it's as if it's in His hands.
It is in His hands,
right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So how does one the decisions that you make from a business standpoint? Do you never have any fear? And it's like kind of just like, because it's in His hands. Like, is it just like this blind faith? Or would you say that there's like moments that am I making this right decision?
Right. So. I love the book of Proverbs. It's the book of wisdom, right?
Okay.
Or one of the books of wisdom in the Bible. And in Proverbs chapter 1, which I read this morning, I have a discipline of reading a chapter of Proverbs every day.
Okay.
It's 31 chapters of Proverbs. It's pretty cool. It usually works out to where you get to read almost every chapter every month. So I was reading it this morning, and in chapter 1 it talks about in Proverbs, it talks a lot about wisdom and folly, those two things.
Okay.
Wisdom and folly, right? Wisdom being something that's good, folly being something that's bad, right? In Proverbs chapter 1, it talks about eating the fruit of your own way. Well, remember how we talked earlier in our conversation? When I'm making decisions, I don't want to make a decision based on what I want. I want to make a decision based on where the Lord is leading us. So, because I don't want to eat the fruit of my own way.
Sure.
My way is not good. Right? I'm still sinful. I still struggle with different things. I make mistakes, and I want to carry out whatever His will is for my life. And I see what you're saying about entrepreneurs. I think the biggest thing that I've learned from being an entrepreneur, I've been doing this I'm 40 years old.
Mm-hmm.
I've worked for another company for 4 years out of my professional career. That's it. The rest of the time I've worked, it's
always been for yourself.
It's been something that it's been entrepreneurial in nature.
Okay.
I think what entrepreneurs struggle with is not being able to differentiate their identity and their assignment. Right? They think, and I don't want to say they think because I've struggled with this before too. I'm a small business owner. That's who I am. Well, no, it's not. That's not who you are. That's what you do. And I think the biggest thing that you can do is realize that that is not who you are. Your identity is something completely different. And that's that vertical relationship, right? My identity is I'm a disciple of Jesus Christ. That's who I am. Now, he gives me some really cool assignments, right? And we've got all these different assignments throughout life. Like right now, one of my assignments is running an archery company. And it's a lot of fun. Man, I get to work with some of the coolest people you'll ever meet, whether it be people that are designing these bows that we get to put together and sell on a daily basis, or folks that are coming in that are wanting to get engaged in the sport or that have been doing it for decades or whatever the case may be. We get to have a lot of fun, right? But then I've got these other assignments too. I've got these assignments of being a husband. I've got this assignment of being a dad. I've got the assignment of being a mentor to some people, right? And I was just talking with my daughter and my wife yesterday. I went and had lunch and with my daughter and wife, and I can always tell when they choose the spot because there's a doily on my plate when it's over with. So, two things happened. They chose the spot, and I left hungry, right? But it was good, and it's good for me to go and do stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
It's proper for me to do that. But in all of Scripture, it doesn't talk about a workaholic.
Sure.
How often do you talk with somebody and they say that, or they lament that they're a workaholic? And it never talks about that, right?
Yeah.
And it doesn't talk about that because being a workaholic is not a real thing. All right? Being a sluggard is real.
Sluggard?
Yeah, being a sluggard, being a sloth,
okay.
being lazy.
Sure.
That's real.
Yeah.
Okay? So if you're a workaholic, what that really means is you're being lazy somewhere else. Okay? So you're being a sluggard in another part of your life. So, which means you're not prioritizing well, which means you probably don't know what your true identity is. You're getting your identity from something that you shouldn't be getting your identity from, which is not healthy.
Sure.
So I think that's as an entrepreneur, that is one of the best things that you can ever do is differentiate those two things.
I'm going to challenge this because for me. And please kind of like advise me on this.
Now, I may not be qualified for advice.
No, it's okay. It's okay. I mean, we're just having that conversation,
sure.
Right? I think for me, it's, in order to make a business successful,
sure.
Right? There's a ton of time that needs to be poured into it. So, I think oftentimes workaholics or they're just pouring their time into that thing. And so, how do you balance that? Because, it's not, in my opinion, when I hear somebody that wants to be an entrepreneur because it means that they get to make their own schedule. It's not like that at all, right?
Yeah,
so I have to kind of pump the brakes a little bit and say there is so much time that you have to pour into kind of like an organization to make it profitable, to make it work. So how do you balance that, right? So you're saying on one end, there's the identity side of it, and then there's the actual work or assignment side of it. How do you balance that?
Well, I think that the biggest part of that is let's say something changes for Adam. Whatever the case may be, you have everything changed for you by the end of 2023.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
You're no longer doing a podcast.
Okay.
You're no longer at the center up here doing stuff. Everything about your life has changed. and you go the whole way kicking and screaming because you don't want it to change.
Sure.
All right. What does it look like January 2024 or March 1st, 2024? All right. Are you satisfied with life, or are you completely distraught and in a place of depression because you're not doing what you think you are anymore?
So this is a great question, right? Because oftentimes, I'm involved with a bunch of different things, and I allow really to be guided, if you will. Things happen, and I basically follow my nose, and I kind of like allow these things to kind of like transpire, and I'm kind of like just like, okay, this is kind of like my reaction to it is what I can control.
Right.
And so even if like everything changes, let's say that, like you said, everything is kind of like altered, I think that I'll be in a good place because I'll understand that that is where it's leading me.
Sure. Okay.
So does that answer the question at hand?
Yeah, I mean, I guess it does. I think that what was the original question that we started with? How do you differentiate those two? Right?
Yeah, so we have our work side and identity, right?
Yeah.
Like, and what the statement that was made was like there needs to be a very stark kind of like differentiation between the two.
Right.
And I, not that I felt some way about that, but I rather like, for me as an entrepreneur, I feel like there's so much that a person has to pour into that business in order to make it grow or to make it succeed.
So, all right. So to answer that question, what I would say is we really need to do a good job with prioritizing things, right? And listen, this is not coming from a place of authority or,
Sure.
coming from a person that has figured this out.
Sure.
I struggle with this all the time. But I've, like I said, I've been in the business community for a long time, and you'll see folks in the business community. You'll see specifically entrepreneurs. Well, not even specifically entrepreneurs. You'll see folks that are running that race.
Yeah.
And they're not focusing on things that are actually priorities, right? Like their family is a priority. Their marriage is a priority. Man, when I see somebody's marriage fall apart because they were spending too much time on their work, that's stupid.
Yeah.
You can always make more money.
Yeah.
You can always make more.
Yeah.
You can always find a better way to make money that's going to give you the opportunity to be a good husband, or to be a good wife, or to be a good dad, or be a good mom, right? So being able to prioritize and realize which things are non-negotiable, so being an entrepreneur, maybe it's really hard to take a week off to spend with your family. You know what? You need to do it anyway.
Yeah.
You need to figure that out.
Yeah.
Maybe it's really hard to leave that meeting early to make it to the ball game. You need to figure it out. You need to do that. And then, also there's going to be times where you got to miss a ball game.
Yeah.
Because you got to be out of town.
Yeah.
But and that's the case with an entrepreneur or a business person working for somebody. You're going to have those moments where stuff like that's going to happen. And if you're treating the things that are priority with priority, it's okay if you miss something.
Sure.
Because you know what? Out of those 20 games, you missed one or you missed two, right? You didn't miss
all of them.
You didn't miss 18 and make it to one or two.
Well, it makes sense.
You understand what I'm saying?
Makes sense.
So, and if you're struggling about what your identity is all the time, man, it's not even a priority. You're not even thinking about those things.
So I think what's fascinating here is really that, when we talk about kind of like the business, right? The business is archery, right? But what you're doing inside of the business, I think, is far more valuable, right? The business is the vehicle, right? It's kind of like the thing that's going to take you there. But the interactions with your team members, the vertical, like you were saying, is what really kind of like makes that business to you worth it.
Yeah. Well, the business to me is secondary.
Got you.
Yeah. I mean, I would say 1A is the people, 1B is the business. It can't take second place because if it takes second place, it's not going to be profitable.
Got
right?
you.
It would be removed so much that you don't even focus on it enough. So I would say it's 1A and 1B, but the people are definitely A.
Love that.
Yeah.
Love that. So let's shift it for a second. What's kind of like upcoming for Bowtreader? So it sounds like, you're about to outgrow the space or busting at the seams right now.
Sure. What's
kind of like on the horizon?
We say that, but at the same time, we have to be smart with what we're doing. We're in a different economy right now than we have been at any point of the life of this business. So we have to be very careful about the money that we spend and have to be smart about it. So does that mean we're going to be moving? Man, I don't know. It costs money to move.
Does
that mean we're going to take on a building project where we're at? I don't know.
Yeah.
Money's costing almost 10% right now.
That's right.
Is that smart? Is that being a good steward? Probably not. So it's those are the kind of things that we're looking at. We do have some growth plans, some things that we're already in motion that'll be coming up. Nothing that I really want to get into sharing a whole lot about right now.
Okay.
But it's something that'll be coming down the pike really soon.
Really cool.
It's a lot of fun. So we're super excited about it.
How would people keep in touch if there's somebody in the audience that wants to?
Yeah, just you can follow along on all the social channels, whatever your favorite social channel is.
What's
we're
What's
there
that?
At Bowtreader.
Bowtreader?
Yeah,
okay.
At Bowtreader for anything, as far as Facebook, Instagram. I think we're on TikTok. I don't do all that stuff. But, now you may wind up seeing me on there doing some kind of stupid dance or something every now and then.
Oh, we gotta look it up now.
I don't know. I'm not the guy that's behind that, but yeah. So that's where people can keep up with us for sure. And come by. Come by the shop.
Yeah.
That's what I would encourage anybody to do. Even if you've never put a bow in your hand, come by and let us put a bow in your hand.
Yeah.
Come by and talk to us about what we're doing, what our mission is.
Yeah.
We'd love to engage with folks in that way.
Really thankful for having you on the show.
Yeah.
Very inspired by the way that you approach business.
That's cool, man.
And even to the point of caring so much about kind of like the people and the business at the same time, and that has led to your success from moving from a 900 square foot shop to now 7,000 square foot shop. It shows that the formula of what you're doing, it works.
Well, it shows that what we've done in the past has worked, right? And I think every small business owner, I think everybody needs to realize that at any moment everything could change. Man, I'm thankful for where we've been. I'm thankful for where we've come from, for all the people that we've had the opportunity to work with. But I realize that just because we've started right here and we've made it here, the end of our story could be 90 days away. And if that's the case, that's okay. I don't want it to be, but if that's the case, he's in control. So
feel it, man.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you so much for coming on to the show, and excited for everything that you are going to do in the future.
Yeah,
as well.
I appreciate it, man. It was a lot of fun.
Cool, awesome.
All right, thanks, buddy.